Episode 426. The arena fell deathly silent. This All-Star Weekend had already seen more than its share of unprecedented events, and now even an ordinary player had managed to defeat a pro. If this was a case of him holding back, it certainly didn't look like one. Even the audience could see that Tang Ru had simply overwhelmed Du Ming with her ferocious APM, beating him down through sheer force. No one wanted to cheer at a time like this. This was Samsara's home turf. Du Ming was a core player for the home team, and he'd just been defeated by a regular player. It was a humiliation for the vast majority of the audience. After another moment of heavy silence, a single curse erupted from somewhere in the crowd. It spread like wildfire, jeers and catcalls rising from every corner. Fans aren't just about understanding and support for their home team. When they're unhappy, they'll let you know without holding back. This was the moment for those criticisms to flood in. The consensus was unanimous. No one blamed Tang Ru. Everyone, without exception, was pointing the finger at Du Ming for his lack of spine. Looking at the match from start to finish, Du Ming didn't just lose, he lost ugly. In a fight that lasted 7 minutes and 34 seconds, he spent a solid 7 of those minutes getting absolutely pummeled, beaten down until the very end. The jeers grew louder and more creative, and the venue descended into complete chaos. Even with the sound system backing him, the host's voice was completely drowned out by the roaring crowd. This kind of criticism isn't unfamiliar to pro players, but many have never actually experienced it. Take excellent era's Lu Hao, for example. After his major blunder cost them a winning game, the team's fans tore him to shreds. Amidst the torrent of blame, Tang Ru and Du Ming had already descended from their competition platforms and stood at the center of the arena. The jeering swelled to a new deafening peak. Out in the arena, Du Ming was mortified. It wasn't until the host came over and repeatedly called for order that the crowd gradually settled down.
Look at the expression on that guy's face.
Not the least bit frustrated and positively thrilled, Shen Guo cheerfully handed the telescope to Ye Shu, all the while laughing at him without a shred of restraint. This immediately drew countless angry glares from those around them. Ye Shu took the telescope and sat up straight. After all, Chen Guo was a beauty, so she got a bit of special treatment. If I made a scene like she did, I'd probably get beaten up by these enthusiastic fans. He picked up the binoculars and looked toward the center of the arena. Du Ming's expression was truly a sight to behold. As for Tang Ru, she looked no different than before the match. Her mental fortitude is her true greatest talent. Only after the noise in the arena had finally died down could the host's voice be heard clearly. But the first voice to speak up wasn't the host's, it was Du Ming's. He took the initiative to ask for another match with Tang Ru. Of course, his intention was obvious. He wanted to redeem himself and save face. But to his surprise, it only invited a fresh wave of mockery. In the eyes of the players, a pro stooping to squabble with a casual player was just pathetic. Du Ming's face grew even darker. Lose, and you get cursed at. Try to win back your pride, and you still get cursed at. There's just no way out of this mess I've landed myself in. Then, just as the jeers began to die down, Tang Ru's voice came through once more.
All right, I accept your challenge.
The entire arena erupted into another uproar. Now, Du Ming was challenging a regular player. Some still cursed Du Ming for his lack of spine, but Tang Ru's arrogance had also sparked widespread resentment, and plenty of harsh words were now being hurled her way. After all, Du Ming was the one they truly supported. It was because they cared so deeply that they criticized him so harshly. They felt it was fine for them to criticize Du Ming, but the moment an outsider looked down on him, they immediately closed ranks to defend one of their own. Yet, amidst all this criticism, Tang Ru was more composed than any pro player. She simply turned and headed back toward the competition stage. The host was at a loss for what to do. A match, and then another right after. This was something unprecedented for the All-Star Weekend. Even the seasoned host felt this All-Star Weekend was getting a bit out of hand. Amidst the chaotic noise of the arena, Du Ming returned to the competition stage. Winning another match wouldn't erase that previous defeat, but it was still better than doing nothing at all. Du Ming couldn't think of any better way to reclaim the face he'd lost than to fight another match. Tang Ru was once again the one to select the map, and once again it was a random one. The match began in a flash. Before the host could even dash off the stage, the holographic projection descended. No words were exchanged. They met in the center of the map and started fighting. The commotion in the arena died down considerably after the match began. What was once a disregarded exhibition match had now captured everyone's attention, with the outcome suddenly mattering. Given Tang Ru's earlier arrogance, the crowd was now eagerly anticipating her to lose this match, and lose badly. Du Ming, grinding his teeth, was no longer taking this match lightly. He had shed his overconfident belief in a guaranteed victory. Now, he was giving it his all, driven by a fierce, unshakable determination to win. The moment they clashed, Du Ming seized the initiative. He pressed the attack relentlessly, his APM skyrocketing as he sought to repay Tang Ru in full for everything she had just inflicted on him. Du Ming's APM might not have been as high as Tang Ru's, but the quality was on a completely different level. Du Ming maintained precise and effective actions, while he could have flailed about wildly like Tang Ru. As a professional player, using such a sloppy, undisciplined style would have risked him being drowned in a sea of scorn. He wanted to win, and win beautifully, win absolutely. He wanted everyone to understand that his previous loss was just a fluke, a one-off. His skill completely eclipsed this ordinary player's. Tang Ru, however, just repeated her old trick, once again cranking up her APM to just flail away on her own. This time, the feeling of fatigue came even faster. Yet Tang Ru's opponent was brimming with fighting spirit. They launched into a true APM duel, one side relying on quality, the other on sheer speed. In comparison, Tang Ru's speed wasn't that much faster, but Du Ming's operational quality was significantly higher than hers. In the end, superior quality won out, but Du Ming didn't have an easy time of it. He simply couldn't fathom how this rather pretty girl could have just unleashed a massive burst of APM, barely rested, and then come back for another round like this. Du Ming could win this match, but winning as spectacularly as he'd hoped would be a challenge. The two were locked in a brutal exchange, each blow they landed costing them dearly in return.
But no matter what, Du Ming has to win this time.